Hi, Professor. It's Ashutosh. Today I'll be explaining the homework 4 um, for HTML Internet Web. And yeah, so because of PHP, I had to connect it to VMware Fusion. So yeah, so I'll have to go through one by one. So I'll show it to you. So I'll read the questions. Oh, I gotta go all the way back up to chapter 11. Okay. Just trying to get there. So I gotta go over chapter. So we're going over homework question 11. Line 11. So it says write a script that inputs a line of text, tokenize it with string method, split, and outputs the token in reverse order. So this is the code for 11.11. As you can see, has doc type HTML, the header, um, header lang. This header lang as the token title, so it'll be tokenized in reverse in the screen. And then you have the header, the head, end of the header, body, and you have the beginning of the header too. So in the output, it'll say enter line of text, input type text, ID input text, and then there's the button on click. So when you write in, like hello, how are you? So it'll have the button saying tokenize and reverse. So it'll like reverse that sentence. And yeah, you have the input text, the splitter. So I mean that's basically it. I mean, so when you run this code, so copy path, go into okay, let's go into your new route. Yeah. Tokenize. So here, enter line of text. So how are you, sir? Right. So now here's the button, the token, tokenize and reverse. When you click on it, it reverses it. So, sir, you are how? So that's basically the first question, 11.11. We'll go to 11.14 now. So with 11.14, it says write a script based on the program, and exercise 11.13 that inputs several lines of text using string method, index of to determine the total number of currencies of each letter of the alphabet in the text. Uppercase and lowercase letters should be counted together. Store the total for each letter in an array and print the values in table format. Um, in a HTML5 text area after the totals have been determined. So this is 11.4. 11.14. Wait, what the? Strange. There we go. So basically, here's the code. So you have the title, character occurrence counter, header as well. So I'll have to get in the title, character occurrence counter. You have a label, text area, text your ID. So I have 4 rows, columns of 50. You have the button count on occurrences. And then you have the function count occurrence, the var text document, get element ID by text area, and the var occurrence new array. So this array will store the occurrence of each letter. So the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so it'll store it underneath all of them. And then basically the text to lowercase case. So this will basically convert the text to lower cases for the case insensitive counting. And then we have the for loop. So it'll basically loop through each character in the text. Uh, and then when you go down to the var results header, so this will display the results in the table or in the table format. So it'll show how many times you've written those letters out. So when you copy path, paste, boom. Yeah, so enter like A, B, C, double D, E, F, double F, G, HI double J, count the occurrences. So it shows A was one time, B was one time, C was one time, D was two times. I clicked it in, E1, um, E1, F two times, G one time, H one time, I one time, J's twice, and for case and didn't even apply it, so it was 0. So this is for 11.14. Now we'll go to 11.22. So for 11.22, it's basically print data in various formats. Dates are printed in several common formats. Write a script that reads a date from an HTML5 form and creates a date object in which to store there. Then use various methods of the data object that converts dates into strings, display the date in several formats. So basically, down, we'll go to the code. So 11.22. All right, so let me make this a little bit bigger. So here you go. Here's the code. So basically, that a char said name. You have the title date format, so that'll be the title on the screen. You have the form ID will be date form. Labels will have the date input, so it'll have the option to enter the date for what month it is, and etc. And then it'll also give the option button to display the dates, and it'll show the output for that. And then in the function display, you have our input data. So we can input the data, such as the date, and it'll give out the output. And then I think the most important ones are from 23 to 25 for the var date strings. So this will give like an example of like, May 1st of 2021 with the date. And then like the second one option, it's like a local one. So it'll be like, like 5/5/2021. And then the var date string three, it's gonna have this will be more like in decimals, so it'll be 0505 and with the date 21. And here are the outputs. So these are the ones to date string. That's what I was trying to specify. So to date string, to local date string, and to iOS string. So it'll show different versions of the dates when printed out. So when you copy path, you go into Firefox. So enter date. So here's the option. Let's say you put May 15th, display date. So shown different formats. So the to date string, Tuesday, May 1st, 2024. And then the to local date string, it'll be like 5/14/2024. And then to ISO string, it's like more the dates first with more numerical. So 05 with the date 15. So that's for the HTML part. Now we go into the PHP part. So let's go to that, chapter 19. 19.17. So write a script named states.php that creates a variable state with value Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Massachusetts, Kansas. The script should perform the following tasks. Search for a word states that ends in XAS. Store this word in element 0 of an array. Name state array. Search for a word in states that begins with K and ends in S. Perform a case instead of comparison. Store this word in element 1 of the states array. Search for word states that begin with M and ends in S. Store this element in element 2 of the array. Search for a word in states that ends in A. Store this word in element 3 of the array. Search for a word in states at the beginning of the string that starts with M. Store this word in element 4 of the array, and 5 output the array states the array on the screen. So this is the code for 19.17. Push this up. So here it states, so it'll have Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Massachusetts, and Kansas. So it'll go through the options. So preg match. So it'll match basically which ones for the states. So basically, if you copy path, Well, actually, not copy path. My fault. It's localhost. So do because it's PHP, so you go localhost. So here, the array, it'll show 0 Texas, 1 Kansas, 2 Massachusetts, 3 Alabama, 4 Mississippi. That was for 19.17. Then we go to 19.18. Um, 19, write a Petri script that sets whether an email address inputs correctly. Verify the inputs begin with a series of characters, followed by the character, another series of characters and periods. The final series of characters. Test your program using both valid and invalid email addresses. So basically, for that, so I'll show you that code. So here, so this is the code. So this will validate email. So you have the PHP function validate email. So that gives the if statement if filter var email filter. So this will validate the email. It'll return true. So when it basically um, it'll use this option for the email rogerfederer@outlook.com, so it'll validate if this is a proper email. So if it's proper, it'll return true. If not, it'll return false. And this is also do the if validate email. So this will also validate if this is a valid email address or if it's an invalid email address. So when you run this, copy path, um, not copy path, my fault. So localhost slash 19.8. Roger Federer Outlook email is a valid email address. So that in this version, it's correct. But let's say if I take out the at symbol, right? So file save, see if this is accurate. Roger Federer without the at outlook.com is an invalid email address. So it runs basically, it works properly. And then for 19.9, I did the code professor for this, but for some reason it's not outputting. I've been trying to work on it the whole time, put the server name, localhost, root 11, and database URL, but for some reason it's just not working, but I did the code. So I just hope, give me some credit for this. At least I was trying. I was trying to fix this error, but it was not working for quite some time, and I didn't know what to do at this point. 9.19.19, but I wrote the code here for 19.9. For some reason, it's the SQL thing is not connecting to it, but I hope you can give me some credit for my effort on this part. Um, so that is all for HTML homework 4. Thank you, Professor. Really appreciate it. Bye bye. Have a good night.